We can actually talk about it now. So the reason why this video is called The Last Days of RuneScape and is because really, I don't think people really understand what's happening in a couple days. So over the last few weeks, or like last month or so, Jagex has been doing a beta test for a lot of combat changes. And so the main idea for this update was to make combat a lot more easier for people who are picking up the game for the first time, people who are used to this game and stuff like that, to kind of make the and streamline combat. Because combat in this game is extremely, I would say it's not the best ability-based combat I've played in a game when you begin it, okay? And MMOs aren't necessarily, even in my very humble, very humble, I've played Albion, Final Fantasy, a little bit of World of Warcraft, Lost Ark, Diablo, Path of Exile. Like, I've played a lot of ability-based games where you have a lot of abilities or like a lot of effects and stuff like that. And RuneScape's combat has the unique problem of it's really, really weird in the beginning. Like, the beginning of combat really has always, one pearl has always been a little bit weaker in the terms of, like, it's got a lot of abilities. There's a lot of things going on all at one time. And it doesn't give you a good job of like, yo, dude, this is what you do. This is what this thing does. And this is how you get through it and go and move on, and slowly build upon that. The thing about, but until Necromancy was introduced to the game. When Necromancy was introduced to the game, it simplified it a lot in a lot of different ways. Necromancy, it has built-in abilities with its combat style where you can pretty much just press like 3 or 4 abilities and you're good to go from there, right? You can pretty much go ahead and like, this is my main rotation for this time until I unlock other things. There is a very clear progression path of how you level up Necromancy and what you gain from leveling up Necromancy. There's a lot of different cascading effects of that, which I think, as somebody who went through like learning Necromancy and getting through it. Now, mind you, granted, I'm not as good as a lot of other folk. There's a lot of people here on this game that are a lot better than I am, and we'll get into that. About pretty much how you can streamline that whole process. Like, it made it a lot easier, and people pick up Necromancy first over any other combat style in this game because it is easy to learn and it's a very adaptable. It takes a lot of thinking out of things, and plus it's just super strong. Being able to heal early on, you got a scythe to clear out AoEs. You have really good single target damage. Necromancy is really good for the early and mid game for RuneScape, right? And so inside the beta, I did a little bit of testing over the last couple weeks. Well, mainly this week to see how it feels, because the update that is coming into the game on Monday is primarily focused on making sure the beginning portion of the game for the other combat styles from the early to mid game, which is arguably the most important part of the video game. Like, end game in MMOs is really, really important. It is kind of like the pinnacle piece, right? It is like the end of your career, that big seat, that big corner office with a nice window type of shit. If you're a corporate guy, right? You want to get that nice solo office and everything. You want to be able to put a picture of your family or a beer when you're sitting at your desk. That is what end game is for a lot of people, myself included. However, I've quit Final Fantasy, Albion, World of Warcraft, and arguably Guild Wars 2 because of the leveling process. Guild Wars 2 was unique. It was just kind of like, I wasn't a fan of the graphics, but it was more so that like the leveling process in all those games kind of sucked. RuneScape does a very good job, both versions, and no matter, both have their own quirks, both have their own issues, but RuneScape, both versions, old school and this one, do a very good job of like, look, dude, here's a piece of candy. Ooh, taste this piece of candy. And then you go get this level, man. Oh shit, you want to get that level? Go do this thing, bro. you want to do that thing that you were doing before you did this thing? But you want to do it a little faster? Dude, my guy, you can go ahead. Go divert 8 hours that way. And then it's like, you want to do the thing again? And like, RuneScape does a very good job of doing that, right? And so the problem that the early game had when it comes to combat is that it's got too many diverting paths. Meaning, like, gear is really confusing. Like, what's your gear upgrade? What should I level up? What should I be getting here? What should I be getting then? Not of that path was really confusing. is really confusing. Like, currently, it's really confusing. Like, if I was gonna tell my homeboy, yo, my guy, you're gonna pump out a whole lot of fucking kills for this thing right now. Go level up some Slayer real quick with melee only, my guy. He's gonna get beat for several hours until he's able to do anything. Mostly because it's just like there's no sustain, there's no other way for him to upgrade his gear besides like either getting the gear and buying it or learning how to smith it. There's nothing wrong with like being able to smith it, but it's just more so like it doesn't provide you a clear enough path of like I could go unlock this thing, do that thing. Then when you get into the abilities, like how you actually level up melee, dude, why is there like 8 different abilities to do the same exact thing, right? That was the big problem. That was like terrible. I do it now. Like I was doing some trio hard mode character pack, end game boss, absolute sweat fest. It was disgusting. Let me show you my ability bar for this, my guy. It was shameful. This is my ability bar, right? This is this little bar here that's highlighted. That is the portion that is like these will automatically proc while I'm doing combat, right? Literally same thing as this ability. Same exact thing. Cleave, sever, slice. Slice is filler. Sever gives you damage mitigation. Not really that important. Cleave, it's the strongest one out of the 3. But again, not that important. They all functionally do the same exact thing. I have Quake is really strong because it's empowered by my sword, and then Greater Fury I need to time with all my other abilities. That's pretty much it. These 3 abilities right here, do the same exact fucking thing. Cleave, unless there's an AoE monster, doesn't fucking matter. Does the same exact thing. It's really, really stupid. Like, there's too much, I like the term that they put in the beta, which was ability bloat, which is like, I was like, huh, dude, like necromancy? Like, there's an ability called bloat where you, like, spit on someone. No, what they're talking about is, like, there's too many abilities to, like get through and figure out, right? And so, we're going to start Big Game Hunter, by the way. I'm going for the totem piece, so we're going to go ahead and do Big Game Hunter. And removing a lot of that ability bloat and simplifying combat for the early game, I think is really good. I think that's really important because, like, I was thinking about, like, dude, everything I'm about to do, everything that I'm about to know, every single ability rotation, every single, like, combat magic rotation, necromancy rotation, very bad range rotations, very bad melee rotations, all of that stuff, everything that's familiar to me is about to change. Everything. Because RuneScape is fundamentally a rhythm game. You get into the rhythm of doing a ability rotation. You get into the rhythm of like pressing these buttons this way, doing this, pressing this button, knowing you press that button. You get into a rhythm of things, and you like get really, really used to it, right? And the fact that a lot of people are gonna that rhythm of how you do combat and stuff is about to be completely disrupted. Like, it's gonna change entirely. A lot of people may not like these changes. Because, one, everything they know is about to be gone. Not going to be relevant anymore. If you left the game 5 months ago, you're not going to be able to recognize it to what it is right now. And that's going to be very frustrating. And there's a lot of people that just don't adapt to change. There's a lot of people that quit over this moment. I just got done watching, well, I watched half of it, of Will Missett's, like, the evolution of combat video. He made, like a 3-hour documentary on, like, how the evolution of combat really destroyed the game in terms of player retention and like stuff like that, right? And I was really surprised to see that only 25% of people quit RuneScape because of the evolution of combat. Now, evolution of combat was again drastically different from how basic point and click wait combat was when RS2 was in the game, when you was pretty much like how it is for old school right now. So I don't really expect that big of a shift for a lot of people nowadays, because people do like the combat system in this game. I'm a big fan of it. I love the idea of RuneScape combat and the philosophy of RuneScape combat. It's very, very good. I really, really like it. So I don't really see that big of a problem for right now, for how combat is going to be right now. I think it's going to be more of a problem to a lot of people who are like the top 5%. The people going for master timers, people going for Grandmaster, those kind of people, I think the top 5% are going to have a really hard time adjusting to the change that is going to be the combat update. And to be fair, that's perfectly fine, right? Like, everybody got to think about it. If all of a sudden they close down your road when you're commuting to work, and it's the same way you've been driving for 10 years, and there's literally no other way that you know how to get to work without the GPS, you're probably going to be upset and like, well, you got to go to work, but you're not going to quit your job, but you're going to be frustrated regardless, right? Right, you know what I mean? Now, there's going to be, I think, for the other 95% of people, which, honestly, 95% of players are casual Joes, regular schmegular Joes. And they don't really do this crazy high APM, sweat-ass builds, all that crazy stuff. A lot of them just use what I'm doing. They put a lot of their abilities on Revolution, and they go buck wild with what they got, right? So I've always thought of it in that sense of like, yeah, it's going to be really, really painful for some people, but I don't think it's going to be painful for everybody. I think it's really, really important that they're primarily working towards getting the early game done, because people quit this game. New people try RuneScape every single fucking day. Every single day. It's not like rocket science of like, yo, dude, no one's ever heard of this game before in 2026. It's actually people try this game every single day. Literally, I like one of my neighbors, he was like, brother, I'm playing RuneScape for the very first time. Man's never touched a fantasy MMO game in his life. And he decided to try out Double Spawn. This is my first Double Spawn. He decided to try this game out. And so I was like, wow, that's actually really, really cool. And you know why he ended up quitting the game? And the reason why he quit the game was because he was like, dude, this combat shit is like super overwhelming. And like, he's not stupid. He could get it. But it was like really overwhelming. And like, he doesn't want to be a Necromancer. I don't like playing Necromancer because it's not my type of build of character I like to play. I like playing the hard-hitting, crit-driven builds. That's the kind of character I like to play when I play these types of games. So I've never been a fan of the Necromancy thematically. I've never really strove for it. And so, like, I think opening up the other combat styles, because ranging is really popular. Like, think of the medieval archetypes, my guy. The typical stuff. You want to be a ranger, be a ranger. That should not be blocked off to you because you have to go do necromancy. You shouldn't have to go and pick a combat style you don't want to do. If you want to be a fucking wizard, go be a wizard, dude. Like, that should be a thing that is just allotted to you automatically. You want to be a berserking melee guy? Go ahead and do that. You should not be punished for trying out the game. So I'm really glad about that. I think those overall changes are really important. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to give it a good, honest shot. I'm going to try in the end game. I want to see how it feels. And we'll go from there, man. I think that it's going to be worth trying out. Especially if you haven't played the game in a long time. And especially if you tried the game and you thought it was confusing. I think those people are really important. Because again, if you don't focus on the beginning of your game, you will never have people in the end of your game. That's the big thing. Because most people don't get past the first 10 hours of anything, right? And the beauty about RuneScape is that it's very long. It's a journey. But brother, if I'm fucking stepping on glass for the first 10 hours of this journey and I only have a few hours to play every day, I'm not going to play your game. I'm not going to play your game. And that's how combat has felt for a lot of people. So being able to upgrade that and change that is really, really important. So I'm glad they've made that change. And I'm excited to see it. And honestly, just like anything else, I will give my honest opinion. We're going to give it a shot. We're going to see how it feels. I'm going to be trying out, we'll see. You know how you're going to be able to tell? If Telos gets easier. I was getting my absolute back blown out by Telos over the last 2 days when I've been trying to push and rage there. So if you know it's a pretty decent upgrade or buff for everything else if I'm able to do some Telos without that big of a problem. But we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitch, and if you want to get yourself a cool little party hat, check out the link in the description to get 50% off your next order from the Grand Exchange 3D.